Graded stakes racing continues, and this time we go to beautiful Belmont Park. It's the Met Mile. Let's take an early look as we record this on a Monday afternoon. We've got a potential field of 8 or 9 horses lining up for the Met Mile. And let's start off with probably the most likely favorite, Code of Honor. He enters in off one race, the Westchester in 2020. But a big campaign last year as a 3-year-old saw him win the Jockey Club Gold Cup by a disqualification and also win the Travers Stakes. Important to note, he's 3 for 4 at Belmont Park, and he does have a win at a flat mile, the Dwyer Stakes, in a small field, a 5-horse field. Code of Honor came running late and nailed them on the line, really drew away to victory. Code of Honor is one of those horses that he can run a mile, good classy horse, and can also stretch that speed to 9 furlongs or 10 furlongs. So it'll be interesting to see what Code of Honor does in a race like the Met Mile. Now, McKenzie was one of the favorites going into last year's Met Mile, was tagged by Matoli in that race, but McKenzie ran well, had a little bit of a trip problem, comes into this race off a prep at Santa Anita, picked up a win the last time out at 7 furlongs, going to try to stretch that speed out to a mile. McKenzie was probably in better form last year coming into the Met Mile. We'll see what he can do. I like his chances, but I do think he's a little bit slower this year, at least on paper, than last year. Network Effect comes off a second place finish to Vekoma the last time out. I think he's going to appreciate a fast track. I like the way he can kind of just pounce late down the lane. This is his form cycle kind of cycling into a good effort here, and Network Effect may be one that you want to use as kind of a long shot in this race, possibly underneath a couple of the main contenders. Hog Creek Hustle, the Hog, he'll be rolling late, and the Hog comes in with 4 starts in 2020, yet to win this year, but he has faced a couple of unique circumstances. He ran in a 3-horse field to start off the campaign, didn't have much of a chance pace-wise there. And then he does have a good second to Mr. Money last year as a 3-year-old. The Hog, probably a little bit outclassed. He does like the distance, but I think this should set him up as a tightener for the 7-furlong race, maybe at Saratoga, the Forgo Stakes or something like that, or cut back at Keeneland in the fall. Warriors Charge, going to try to cut back after a couple of route races. Set the pace last year in the Preakness. Set the pace at Oaklawn Park last race before losing to the top older horse, Tom's d'Etat, and then also lost in, actually picked up a victory at Oaklawn Park, gutted out a victory. The Son of Munnings on the cutback, going to be a strong contender here. I've always liked this horse. I think he's probably better as a loose on the lead horse at 1 1/8 or a mile rather than a cutback horse because he's facing other speed in this race. Vekoma, he does more with 3 legs than most horses does with 4. 2 of the most impressive performances of the year. You bring the canoe because he's bringing the paddle. The unorthodox stride is going to be tough on the lead in this race. I like the way he just went to the lead the last time out with Castellano. That was a grade 1 Carter at 7 furlongs, beat Network Effect. Now he's got to take on Code of Honor, but I think he's in great form. His Gulfstream Park race was impressive. This guy is fast. He's got a win at 108.4 again in his debut. He won at a mile as a 2-year-old, and I think he's ready and in form. So he's going to have the lead coming into the stretch. Can he hold off horses like McKenzie and Code of Honor? If he wins this race, that would be back-to-back grade 1s for Vekoma. Mr. Freeze cuts back. Mile is his best distance, but he's facing top-class horses here in Warriors Charge, McKenzie, Code of Honor, and Vekoma. Mr. Freeze, I think, going to be a little bit up against it, and I'm not so sure he can run a 1:33 and change mile like some of these guys may be capable of doing here. Endorsed, who ran second to Code of Honor in the Westchester, he's going to cut back. He's one that could maybe come flying late if the pace gets a little bit too hot, along with the Hog Creek Hustle. So that's a look at the Met Mile, a very competitive edition. I think Code of Honor goes favored. Vekoma going to run a strong race, I think, as well, and it'll be interesting to see what Warriors Charge can do along with McKenzie. I think McKenzie's going to get a lot of play. I think Code of Honor is going to get a lot of play, and going to be a very interesting Met Mile at beautiful Belmont Park. Remember, hit subscribe, share this video with all your horse racing friends as we lead you up to the Breeders' Cup 2020. It's the Met Mile from Belmont Park.